My priest title as a Melchizedek priest is Morpheus Mysticus Magus, emissary of light, redeemer of the righteous, the condemner of the wicked. My actual job is to right the condemnation of the wicked, so when Christ returns, it'll all be done. This is the cleanup effort.
Okay, I respect that. Shout out to Sister Akshita. We are in Detroit right now. Shout out to the lady of the house, the empress of the house, Sister Satoria, the moon goddess. Shout out to her. Oh, man. She is a blessing.
Shout out to everybody watching.
Shout out to everybody that's watching.
You know?
Shout out to you if you in the building. All right, so another question is, who are your teachers, my brother? Like, who you regard, who was like your main teachers that you feel as though influenced what you bring to the people?
I had one teacher.
One teacher?
One teacher. But my one teacher sent me to many experts.
Okay.
The one teacher has no physical form.
Okay.
And the one teacher is here from the foundation. This one teacher is Alpha and Omega.
I respect that.
So when the one
I like
teacher
where you're going with it.
sent me
I like where you're going. Go ahead.
to study the works of Dubois, I did that.
Okay.
When the one teacher sent me to study the works of Noble Drew Ali, I done that.
Okay. I respect that.
When the one teacher sent me to study the works of Malachi York, I done that.
I respect that.
When the one teacher sent me to study the works of Elijah Muhammad, I done that.
Okay.
When the one teacher took me to study the works of Martin Luther King, I done that.
Okay.
And I can go on like for hours telling you who all he had me study, but the point being is, at this point in time, this is the cleanup effort. This is in the aftermath of judgment. Judgment has been executed. So this is the harvest of the righteous. This is what everybody been waiting on, harvest of the righteous. Now, the place that I work is Orion, Michigan. Now, that don't mean nothing to most people. But for anybody in the science, they would know that the pyramids in Egypt is lined up to what? In the stars. The Orion.
Okay.
And right in front of the pyramid sits the Sphinx. You see that the Sphinx head is significantly smaller, and they said that they was trying to conceal the African features.
Okay.
By the destruction of the head of the Sphinx, which is not true.
That's right.
They destroyed the Sphinx so that they can cover up the fact that the Sphinx was originally a woman.
All right, I respect that. Yeah.
Now, you can reference this. When you look up the Sphinx in other places, you'll see that she got a woman head.
Okay.
But when you get to the Giza complex, it's been altered. And the symmetry, which is perfect in every proportion until you get to the head, which shows you the head being significantly smaller, shows you that the parts were chopped off.
Mm.
So this lion, the Sphinx, that she lays watching the west.
All right.
As the sun shines from the east, even unto the west, so should the coming of the Son of Man be. The Son of Man, many people confuse with the Christ. The Son of Man is not the Christ. As you see in Revelations, when John the Revelator received the revelation, it was an intercessor between him and the Christ.
Okay.
John, being a mortal man, seeking righteousness. So the angel of the Lord came to him and said, this is how you're going to know when the Christ comes. Now, I've been asking preachers a question for years, and I haven't got an answer. If you're sitting in front of the Christ, and you're talking to him, or the Son of Man, because the Christ is a woman. You talking to the Son of Man, and that's a mockery term, by the way.
All right.
How would you know? So they tell me all the signs.
Okay.
Okay. Well, at this point, all the signs exhausted. So now he got to be here. How will you know when you're sitting in front of him? So anyway, you go back to the Orion. The Orion is in direct connection with an undisclosed connection to this part of the land. We call them Nazca lines.
Okay.
The Nazca lines show you
You talking about in South America,
Yeah, and
the Nazca lions? You talking about
the giant monkey and the giant bird?
Yeah, they got all types of animals and stuff.
But it's two main ones, if you notice, they always show. One is the firebird.
They show the spider all the time.
The spider is indicative of the connection. When the spider draw a web, the web is all of our connection in the spirit realm.
Okay.
So the spider is the symbol of what connects us.
I respect that.
You know, so we're talking about an energy grid. This is the spider.
That's right.
Okay, now in that energy grid, you see two more symbols. You see the firebird and the monkey. The legend has it that the Son of Man rises in the west. And as it say in the text, where the eagle gathered and the carcasses are there, so the Son of Man be.
All right.
Well, the eagle is America. This Babylon, as in the baby lion, as in the offspring of.
So my question is this. I got another question.
Yep.
All right. So how do you feel? I'm gonna just switch the subject a little bit. How do you feel about the conscious community as a whole, and what do you deem as the conscious community? How do you feel about it? Just in a just in a thought of how you feel about the conscious community and the direction of the conscious community.
From what I'm looking at,
and what do you consider to be conscious?
Well, what I'm looking at, those who proclaim to be conscious are knowledgeable.
All right.
Knowledgeable and conscious is not the same thing to me.
All right.
How do you know if they're conscious for real? Because they would be pushing something called a unity doctrine. They would be trying to resist the devil's divide and conquer with a unity doctrine. Like, it's some brothers, I love to hear them talk, but they're not pushing the unity doctrine. They are still relying on the old energy that kept us at the lower portion of the three-dimensional vibration.
Okay.
But they got the right spirit, but they got the wrong approach. The spirit of truth. Like, I'll tell you, brother, I really like to hear talk, but he don't have all the information. That's young Pharaoh. I can listen to young Pharaoh all day.
I don't really mess with him like that, bro. I don't really get down with him like that.
Well,
I would put that on joint, but I don't really get down with him like that.
I listen to all of them because it's my responsibility to see where the information is correct or incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, so I gotta listen to them whether I like them or not.
I respect that. I respect everybody's point of view.
The reason why I like
up with just the spirit of truth.
The reason why I like young Pharaoh, it's a reason. I don't just like him just because I like him.
Okay.
You know, because my approach to men is very abrasive. So when I see young Pharaoh, what makes me like him is, in the face of overwhelming opposition, he's still gonna say what he believes is right, even if he's wrong.
He be dead ass wrong though. He be having it be brothers that
feminine planet. If you look at the animals, look at the lion. Everybody called the lion the king of the jungle, but he ain't shit without his queens. That's why he keep the harem. His lazy ass don't want to go out and chase that motherfucking wildebeest down. We, by nature, are matriarchal as humans. We, by nature, are pack animals as humans.
Mm-hmm.
When we deviate from the pack behavior and the matriarchal behavior, we become selfish, we become individual, prone to jealousy, prone to excessive rage. Then we become confused to the point, because we're not living like we're supposed to, that we attack that which is nearest to us. It comes out as white on white violence, black on black violence, Asian on Asian violence. But then it can only go so far. We have to spread it because we are in this wrong vibration. It's not fitting us. We fighting it. Though we fight it, we don't understand it. That's why Paul said we fight not against the flesh and the blood, but against the principalities and the powers. The principle. The principle is the underlying idea. The power generates from the underlying idea. The principle is the underlying idea. So if you got a car loan, what's the principle? It's the amount you first borrow, right? The power is in that. If you kill the principle before the interest takes place, they can gain nothing more than the principle. So you fighting against principalities. That's a group of principles, a set of them. All of these principles, they don't want you to know what they are. Because once you understand what they are, you take their power. So that Old Testament God is not the same as the Christ, nor will he ever give the amount of love energy that needs mitochondria to realize itself within the human. Because the patriarch, the Y chromosome restricts the production of a mitochondria. It can't do it. It can't do it. It's not possible. It goes against all the laws of nature and science. Let me see, somebody talked about sacrifice. Civil little jealousy, spiteful, hurting others are all not of God, correct? God lives and loves through us. That requires daily sacrifices. They cannot be hidden behind religion or daily church attendance. You are pretty much on point with that. The sacrifice, however, the sacrifice cannot be a blood sacrifice at this time. Blood sacrifices have their place when everything is in this order, right? And we are at a regular vibration. We don't even eat vegetables. We don't eat vegetables. We eat platinum group metals in their monatomic form in a small amount of water, and we probably eat once every 40 days. That's why they got Moses fasted for 40 days, and the 40 days of the temptation of the Christ. This is what they're talking about. The body being conditioned to facilitate a higher energy function. The monoatomic metals in the platinum group sector causes the central nervous system to allow spirit to be a superconducting agent in the body, which makes the 2/5 unrealized aspect of self and divinity become realized. And so this is what we've been fighting against. This is what all of those secrets are about, is we accepted this by punishment in order to be redeemed at this time without the negativity of what was done in Babylon and the restricting other people from a right to ascension. We accepted this punishment as a cleansing. All of the racism that you see was not even written by white people. White supremacy is a military doctrine written by black people in order to enforce the punishment. They used the exact group that we created that couldn't ascend because they had to steal enough, one drop. They needed one drop. That's all they needed, is one drop. And then their central nervous system would open up to allow them to facilitate a higher vibration, high enough to allow them to ascend and to rid the DNA of all of the defects that was placed in them on purpose in Babylon by mixing various different species of animals around the world with them, with no regard for their right to be uplifted. They couldn't ascend. That's wrong. Mama said no human is to be thrown away. You can't throw people away like trash. And that's what they did in Babylon. It was done in Babylon. They threw the people away like trash. The same way that I told you about early about Ea. Ea is also EU. When you look at the word Europe, it was the rope of Ea, or his order. It was Ea who gave the order to seal him in there, because he didn't want them to, no self-respecting person of color that knew who and what he was would even come close to him. They thought they were a new species of animal when they brought him before the royal court before the fall of Egypt. They brought him before the royal court before we started to clean him up. And when the queen seen him on a leash walking on all fours, and she was like, what manner of beast is this? Well, the geneticists were assembled to determine what this was, so they thought they had found a new species, knowing that there has not been a species on earth that the Egyptians had not been aware of. When the geneticists came back and told what had taken place genetically with this, they were humans. They were humans that was thrown away. She flipped, blew a gasket. So in order to clean it up, one of us decided that I'll take the punishment. I'll bear the whole weight if everybody could understand that you can't throw people away. Because mama said you can't throw people away. They're not trash. So if you create something, you have to understand what you are creating, and you have to understand that there's consequences. Even if you are God, even if you are God and you do some dirt, it's consequences. There is no injustice in a righteous universe, and no injustice will be allowed to stand. That's the law of mine. And so when black people wondering why we wasn't getting awards at the Oscars, they don't even know Oscar was a black man. They don't even know Oscar was a black man. The whole Oscar statue is a black man. This is to recognize that the cleanup is being a success, and that all of this suffering has to come to an end, and we there. It's over. We don't have to suffer, nor do they. When all of these things took place, the invaders left us holding the bag to clean it up as if they had nothing to do with it. They were punished. They were punished. Their punishment was manual labor under the harshest conditions until each one of them clocked a certain amount of toil, which was what the condemnation of Adam was. You shall work by the sweat of your brow. These were the fallen ones, and they moved the verses around to confuse us. Adam couldn't be punished because Adam was not human. Adam was a nanobot made out of dirt. And the only reason why Adam was able to procreate is because she said, you can't do this to people. You can't make yourself the type of person that has no regard for the goodness in creation. It's all here. And it's our price to pay to clean it up. So because y'all are so arrogant and y'all know everything, and I've already gave you my son, we're going to do this as a family. So all of those, what we call fallen gods or the fallen sons of God that's been in human form, have been paying their penance with the suffering. And so the suffering ends when we realize humans cannot be thrown away like trash. Babies are not food. Children are not food. Babies are not toys for sex. These pedophile priests have to go. These imposters holding these thrones have to go. They have to be evicted. Because if they don't, everything you see in the known universe turns to ash. Because the injustice has to stop. Wisdom must precede justice. You cannot clean up that much dirt in 6 months. It takes a long time. And it didn't happen in one day, and it wasn't cleaned up in a single day. So we had to have the Masonic orders, because when they put those people in power, they overthrew the exact black people that put them in these positions to clean up the dirt. And they didn't want to let the throne go. 2,000 years ago, the son who walked with his mother, and they write the story as if this is one person, but I'm going to tell y'all the story of the Bible later on in the New Testament. When he confronted the one who was responsible for giving the order, they was irate because he was the heir. He was the heir to the throne. So they used sorcery and magic and other sleeping gods, because only a god can do anything to the gods, especially a realized god. A sleeping god can kill a realized god without even knowing what he's doing. A sleeping god, because he has the god gene, is authorized to execute another god. Now, if you go back to the Wonder Woman show, you remember at the beginning, they was talking about her, they called her the god killer. Because only a god can execute a god according to the rules. All of them know, from Donald Trump to Francis, the talking Pope Mule over there, and that woman they call the Queen, that they have to go. Trump, in and of itself, is not the enemy. And he's actually doing some cleanup work that he's been commissioned to do. But if we start trying to behave like that Old Testament vengeful, wrathful God that ordered these others to slay this one they call the Christ, the Son of Man. First of all, the Christ, they couldn't kill her if they wanted to. There wasn't enough humans on earth to kill her. There's not enough humans on earth to kill her. Their power and all their technology can do nothing to her. The Christ cannot be harmed by the tools of man. Now, you see all these countries is preparing for war. They preparing for war with God like they can possibly win. Are you an idiot? It's not going to happen. First of all, the devil has already been overthrown in the heavens. So the Son of Man must be crowned on earth. So the Christ got to come back. Okay? So now, all of these things go back to the original subject matter of the fear. The fear in the psychic phenomenon. Because the fear in the psychic phenomenon is what turns off our eyes and ears to the word and impressions that God sent us individually. We don't need everybody in order for one of us to contact God. But what we need everybody for is when there's a negative force of the magnitude that we are overcoming. We need everybody to understand that we need to stand together in opposition to that dark, menacing force that's permeated this planet. There's a cleanup effort going on metaphysically to get rid of the intelligent black goo. That cleanup is already underway. And if you watch through YouTube videos about the chemtrails, you'll see some of them where they have the elders are cleaning up the chemtrails. They actually have craft vacuuming the upper atmosphere of chemtrails. So we wasn't left helpless. They've watched every step of the way as we paid our price for the atrocities we committed. Even Adolf Hitler wasn't what you thought he was. They didn't even tell you that Nazis won World War II, that King George in England won a revolutionary war where America was supposed to be getting its independence. We've been lied to so much. And all of the truth is right there in plain sight. It's what makes the lie so effective.
Because nobody wants to read.
No, it's not that they didn't. Hey, I remember, we already in a state of confusion from the black group, okay. Right? Then we are being misdirected like a David Copperfield show. Look over there, slap. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, when we looked over there and got slapped, we confused. So then they slap a Bible in our face, Quran, whatever the religion is, and they say it worked this way, in opposite of how it actually do work. It take a lot of that ain't the right answer. That ain't the right answer. What's the right answer? If you keep rejecting the wrong answer every time you find it and you ask yourself what the right answer is, you are calibrating. You're calibrating your brain to only accept the correct information. But when you can counter what you know to be a false information or something that didn't pan out, you say, you got to say it to yourself where you understand this is not the correct information. I want the correct information. Your brain has an order from you, and it will not quit until they find the correct information. They teach us to learn by what you call rote learning, memorization of facts. That's not how you teach children. That's how you teach children to be slaves.
Makes sense.
Because they don't know how to think. They only know what you tell them to think. So if you look at our curriculum, they've siphoned out practical problem solving and critical thinking and put it into its own subject separate from the overall curriculum. Africans never taught like that. Native Americans never taught like that. Asians still don't teach like that. You teach a child the fundamentals of learning. You teach them the basics of reading, which is phonics and letter recognition. Once they got the phonics and the letter recognition down, you give them a dictionary and teach them speed reading. That's it. Once you teach them speed reading and they learn a dictionary, they know all of the words of the language that they speak. If you get a good dictionary, you teach them speed reading, they'll learn, by the time they're 7, they will know every word in their language of value at that time because that dictionary will be consumed many times. So now you have to teach them to read. They know how to read. They know the phonics and they know the recognition of the letters. Now all they have to do is calibrate their subconscious mind to assimilate the two at a rapid pace. That's the speed reading. At that point, when you teach a child, a 4 or 5-year-old child in that manner, you just took the brakes off of it. You took the governor off. You get a kid with a mini bike and he don't go very fast. He said, yeah, my dad got to take the governor out when I get a little bigger so it'll go faster. To take the governor out of our children, stop sitting them in them classes with their hands and feet tied to the chair, so to speak. A child is supposed to first burn energy in the morning. When he wake up, he's supposed to go play. He's supposed to go play till he's ready to take a nap. When you wake up from the nap, you're ready to learn. They teach us exactly the opposite. Your child don't get a nap till he get home. He don't get a nap till he get home. He got ADD now. He ain't had a nap all day. He wired up. He got ADHD. He can't sit still. You've been telling him to sit still since 9 o'clock this morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. How long do he need to sit still? Boys especially are not designed to sit in one spot the first half of the day. Boys especially. Girls are the opposite. The girls can sit still early in the morning because they are more mentally inclined at an earlier age. But come noontime, they start getting antsy. It's time for the boys to come in and learn, and the girls will go out and play. They got it all backwards. They try to treat them all the same, and they try to tell them there's no difference in gender, even when the gender difference is blatant.
Lease papers. That definitely mean Larry Hoover got to get his. That definitely mean Angel Bay got to get his. That definitely mean H. Rap Brown got to get his. Mumia got to get his. Asada got to be able to come home now because if Malachi got his release papers, that mean they know that we are no longer under the de facto system. And he clearly told the young lady in the video, and it's since been removed because y'all don't pay attention to shit. Right? So since it's been removed, I'm going to refer all of y'all to the brother Young Elder in the Nuwabians because he's going to be dropping the next message from Baba. Right? He's the only one right now besides the matriarch, and she ain't talking because y'all wasn't paying attention to Baba. So Young Elder gonna tell y'all why y'all have to wait on Baba. Because y'all didn't do y'all job. He told the Nuwabians, and this is verifiable by any Nuwabian who studied, Mandela remained in the penitentiary for 29 years because the people of South Africa allowed him to remain in prison for 25 years.
Well, what were they to do? That was the question that I wanted to know. What's the responsibility of the people to the leadership? Because we all know what the leadership responsibility is to the people, right? So we want to know what the people responsibility is to the leadership, right? So if y'all not paying attention, y'all just following blindly, which means that y'all blind followers and y'all not really studying. You claim to be a God, but you refuse to use a God's mind or a God-like perception. If you don't think you God, stop saying that shit. If you think you God, start doing something that would be worthy to be called an act of God. Only act of God I see is to balance out nature, restore the matriarchy, and kick the imposters off the land. Well, the corporation closed. The clans is united at the top. We just waiting on the buffoons at the bottom to stop the bickering between the religious controversies of some shit that don't got nothing to do with us. No matter what brand of Islam, Christianity, or Judaism, we not from the Middle East. We ain't from over there. We from right here where we at. And all of those was a division used to keep us apart. Right? Now, these sisters about to start getting a massive download. And the brothers that's not paying attention is going to be the victims of the ignorance on display being crushed. Right? And a lot of the children finna put you adults right in your place. Don't you try to abuse the child for correcting your ass for being an idiot. Because even a baby can see through this bullshit. Right? So, I don't want to make this too long. I want y'all to hear the A-tone. I want y'all to go back over to what the minister said and then listen to it again and ask you, who brought you the sound? I've been had that motherfucking shit for 20 years. For 20 years. Waiting on y'all to do something. Stop bickering. Somebody take charge. Hold a fucking post somewhere. Stand up for these children and these sisters somewhere. And all you motherfuckers keep doing is chasing a goddamn bag that ain't about to produce nothing in the end. Because all of y'all chasing after the money gonna end up being slaves to a system. Like y'all are. So while I sat around and waited on y'all to prepare and get ready, I could have been done that shit. I could have been brought this shit down on top of these motherfuckers' heads, but I'm trying to see who's paying attention. So you got these motherfuckers out there claiming to be woke, infiltrating us at the highest levels, and then misleading our children on purpose. Pretending to be us, right? So that they can get in close enough to mislead our children. Oh, diet, woke ass, watered down, pusillanimous, bitch made niggas. They ain't us, and we ain't them. And as Malachi wrote, we see you too, you black devil. You goddamn right. See, y'all thought that only y'all knew what y'all was doing, but we've been watching you the whole time. What you gonna think we ain't gonna never figure this shit out? We ain't gonna never put the pieces together to the infiltration, the backbiting, the undermining, the knee chopping, the dirty dealing, the murder game, the blood rituals, the blood rites, the pedophilia, right? You thought we wasn't seeing that shit? But somebody got to say something, right? Somebody got to say something other than me, because I done gave all of the answers to all of the tests. And everybody said I was crazy, right?
The niggas told me I was stupid because I didn't have no alphabet behind my name. Therefore, I could not have the intellect as a gang-banging ass G. South side of Chicago, Motown hanging, running with them pea stones, knocking and bumping across the land, and they thought I was dumb. I keep telling y'all, these country boys not dumb. We just talk funny sometimes. I can use the perfect diction. I'd rather hit your ass with the dictionary. Fuck they words. Because they be using the word games as if you don't know the meaning of the word, which most of y'all won't look the words up when y'all don't know what they mean. Right? So, you're not watching the long game. You're taking sides in some shit that was 2,000 years before you that didn't have nothing to do with you, clean around the other side of the planet, and it never crossed your mind that you might be from here. That shit from over there might not have nothing to do with you, and that by taking sides with that shit, you arguing Muhammad and Abraham and Jesus, we over here hollering, hey, who the fuck is them? We motherfucking Chippewa, Cherokee, Choctaw. We motherfucking Iroquois, Washita. All of that shit. We ain't no motherfucking Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob ass motherfuckers. That's why y'all in slavery to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob ass motherfuckers. Y'all in slavery to them for the very fact that y'all are subscribing and taking sides with a gods and devil conflict, which is a internal fight among themselves about which one of them is going to get the birthright of Abraham. I don't give a fuck about which one of them niggas get the birthright to Abraham. They can get the fuck off this land with that bullshit. Right? That's right. Seminoles. Everybody sent somebody to fight in the Seminole Wars. Everybody from the Polynesians, the Samoans, even Australia sent somebody to fight in the Seminole Wars because they knew sooner or later anybody who don't do what they already know is right gonna have to answer for that shit. So everybody sent somebody to fight for what's right. And these motherfuckers gave y'all a Bible and a church and nailed the cross to your ass. Right? Because you wasn't paying attention. They kept constantly telling you that before them people came, we didn't have no Bible. The first thing that the colonists did was gave y'all a Bible. Why did he do that? The first thing he did was gave you a Bible, and then he sent his soldiers behind the Bible. That's systemic. That means it's done systematically, in an order, with a purpose and an agenda. But you taking sides with an enemy that swore that you was they enemy, but they making you fight on their behalf to uphold their system that's designed at its root to oppress us. Right? And what Ice Cube say, us. We'll always sing the blues because all we care about is hairstyles and tennis shoes. This is bigger than hairstyles and tennis shoes. This is more important than Gucci and Prada. This is a bigger issue than Chase Manhattan and motherfucking Halliburton. This is a bigger issue than all that shit. Right? It's more valuable than the gold and the diamonds and the oil. But you're so busy holding your enemy on, you fighting your enemy to continuously hover over you. You forcing them to now. He trying to run and get the fuck away from the onslaught, and you trying to make the enemy keep being your master. But then you say that people like me crazy. They say Kalai is racist because he know who the fuck he is. Hey, Kalai, y'all make sure he get this message. Tell him this is what I'm going to tell him. Farrakhan once said, if I play the violin very well,
I am a violinist. If I play the piano very well, I am a pianist. Right? If I get heavy into science, I become a scientist. So when you know that the race game is a divide and conquer bait game, you are now a racist. You can now hear the sound of the ignorance that they spewing out, calling the indigenous people of the land who've been violated, lied to, deceived, told they was somebody they wasn't, right? Now they want us to say, okay, Kalai is a racist because he know who the fuck he is. Because he keep telling you motherfuckers he ain't black. Because he understand that our people didn't use crayon colors to divide people. We use whether you right or whether you fucking wrong to determine what kind of person we was dealing with. Right? So you can't tell me in good faith from the position of right and standing on truth that man a racist. He just know who the fuck he is. I keep telling y'all this is the wrong time to fuck with the elect, the chosen ones who's trying to do the work to reach our people. And y'all steady coming at them. Right? Sometimes we get a little lost. We allowed to make mistakes. Ain't no motherfucker perfect. If you perfect, you be the first motherfucker step up and fix this shit with your perfect ass. Step on up and fix it. Since you perfect. Right? Now, you won't accept Larry or Angel Bay as being the leaders of the land because y'all said they gang banging drug dealers. But y'all accept Ronald Reagan, Oliver North, George Herbert Walker Bush, Dick Cheney, Bill Clinton, one of the biggest drug dealers right up under the Bushes. Motherfucking Bush Jr., Jeb. These motherfuckers was bigger drug dealers than Larry or Jeff could have ever been. They were bigger terrorists than Larry or Jeff could have ever been, but the mistakes they made when they was 19, 20 years old is the mistakes that they continuously paying for. And our people, right, sitting back, twiddling their thumbs, and all they want to do is gossip. Gossip, gossip, like some little runny mouth bitches with no information in their brain. Because that's the lowest form of information transfer is gossip. Right? If you want a perfect leader, show me a perfect motherfucker, and then we can put that motherfucker in the front. Since you want a perfect leader. I'm not talking about a perfect leader. I'm talking about a rightful leader of a righteous people. A double right there. Right? So, you can keep taking sides with the artificial legal fiction. You're going to be a slave in the end. You're going to be a recycled slave in the end. Yeah. Not only was the Clintons major drug traffickers, them motherfuckers had one of the coldest hit squads in the motherfucking business. That's why all the motherfuckers that posed their ass came up dead by suicide and nobody questioned that shit. Right? And then I come and tell y'all who the real leaders is, the righteous. That want to walk righteously on the land for a righteous cause, and you motherfuckers just sit there and twiddle your thumbs, and you don't even know how to share the information because y'all scared to talk to a coward-ass motherfucker that's not going to do shit but berate you and call you ignorant while they do none of the research, while they sit here and go along to get along in a slave system as a slave,
kissing a slave master's ass, trying to convince you to do the same, to go along, to get along, because they don't want you upsetting their level of comfort in a comfortable slave system. Fuck the comfort levels. Fuck the temperature gauge. Fuck the motherfucking elevator in this bitch. Tear all this shit down. And just start from the position of right. Raise the matriarchs back to the position of right on the land, and then all of this shit fades away into oblivion. Right? You ain't gotta worry. You can ride with me now. Motherfuckers quick to say how they die for me now. But we gonna put this shit on the floor so y'all understand. This is serious business. Right? And they said that I wasn't capable of figuring out the problem, bringing y'all the solution, and telling y'all who the real leaders is. And definitely, I wouldn't be capable of finding some shit called an A-tone. Ain't none of us supposed to be that perceptive in the game. But I done produced the A-tone. Farrakhan told you what that shit mean. We beyond critical mass now. Right? So now, if you ain't scared, if you scared, go to church, because that's where you need to be. Because that's what that's for. The church is for the herd of cowards. Right? When they start getting scared and their knees shaking, tell them to go to church and ask Jesus. While Jesus telling you to do for self, you trying to get Jesus to do it for you. That don't even make sense to me. Right? Don't even make sense to me. How in the hell the helping hand you looking for at the end of your own arm, says Malachi Z. York. How in the hell Jesus tell you all the stuff I'm doing, you supposed to be doing it? Everything that I see I can do, you can do even more than that. But you act